I didn't think in a million years even that TED Talk was going to become as popular as it did, and it went viral, and there's like millions. I think it's at 5 million now on just YouTube. Wow. And like tons of engagement on this whole idea of being bold, and tons. I think I've had like thousands of people who've contacted me about that, like DMs, companies, colleges, students, that like whatever I was saying resonated to a point where it actually like turned into this book, because the message I think is exactly that, that like be bold. It's bold. Being bold is more important than being smart, putting yourself out there, blah, 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 blah.
Do you find that this resonates more with women than with men?
Actually, it's 50-50, because the idea behind it is the idea behind the whole idea of being bold is that don't allow your self-doubt or don't allow the fear of failure to stop you from trying. And that's universal, and that has no gender to it, right? Like a lot of, and this is, by the way, it's not just professionally. It's not just like the job. It's not just the job. It's about personal life. Like a lot of guys, or not just girls, end up dating and getting married to somebody that like that like are okay. They're not crazy about, just because they're acquiescing to what's available, or like that person's good enough, and because they're not putting themselves out there, or they're not actually like chasing what they really truly want authentically. And the idea behind my entire platform and message is like how to have a rich life. And it's not rich with finance. It's not like, oh, how do I get a plane and how do I make more money? It's about how do you actually like live in a way that like is actually fulfilling and satiating in a real way. That's with like experiences and relationships and job. Like, look at you. You guys are like literally like a perfect example of somebody or people that are doing that like day in, day out. You guys are best friends. So you get to see your best friend every day doing exactly what you love, talking about exactly what you love in a place that you love. Like, how many people are able to like say that they created that life for themselves in a purpose, in a way that's been like on purpose? You guys were on purpose doing that, like you don't compromise. Yeah. You don't like everything is done in like the way you want to do it.
Yeah, we feel very blessed for it. But the challenge with being bold, or as you said, taking those chances, right? Taking those risks, is the fear of
being subjected to ridicule.
Yeah, failure or ridicule. Because if I put my real self out there, like if I really put my real self out there, and it gets rejected, I have nothing I can't go back and protect myself. Be like, well, that wasn't really me, or I didn't really try my hard. Like I lost the race, but I wasn't running as hard as I could. Like I went as hard as I could and I still lost. And that a lot of people can't deal with. And so I know
what you're
as
saying.
Bold as you are, or as many chances as you've taken, for sure you've had to have failed a bunch of times. There's no way you could succeed at everything.
Well, I failed more than I've succeeded.
How do you deal with that?
So there's a couple of things you said. First of all, there's a big difference, in my opinion, between being bold and taking and risk. Risk and bold is different to me. I feel like bold is, I think you gotta take risks that are not that are like intelligent risk, right? Like if you have a family of 4, right? You're not going to quit your job today and just like hope for the best, right? You got to put yourself in a situation. You got to put yourself in a situation to win, or like things don't just happen just through osmosis, right? You got to put yourself in. Opportunities happen when you put yourself in a place where you can win, and you're constantly it's not as simple as that.
So you're not advocating for people to make just, bold. Okay, cool.
It's not just like my idea is that be smart about putting yourself in not just opportunities, but aligning yourself in places where you have the potential to increase your chances, right? I think it's about being around the right people. It's about taking small steps. You don't have to go from 0 to 60, but I think being bold is being honest with yourself, taking like a mental check of or like a self-awareness check, and saying, okay, where do I want to be in my life? And where am I right now? And what are the steps I need to get there? That's what I'm talking about. It's like if you want to be a basketball player, right? An NBA basketball player, and you are 5'1", yeah, you know what? Maybe that's not the best. I mean, maybe you shouldn't quit your job tomorrow and just, say, you know what, I'm going to become an NBA. Like, I think about like, well, you know what? I like basketball. What am I good at? Would I be good at can I work for a team? What, or should I, can I be a strength and conditioning coach? Could I do this? Like be somewhat like open-minded and creative and you don't need to even have an exact destination, but like have a direction. That's my point. And being realistic with what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are.
Stay in that lane. How many times have you done something where you went into it with this intent it was going to look a certain way, and then it ended up being completely different than what you imagined it to be?
So right. So that was what I was going to actually say, is that my whole premise is that you have to at least try. Right? Like you have to make attempts at least going after in the direction that you're interested and passionate about. And actually the truth is 9 out of 10, a lot of times it's going to fail. Most of my life, whatever I actually went for, I never actually got. But another opportunity presented itself that I never even knew existed by even going down those steps and going down that path. So my whole point is, don't just count yourself out before even trying. That's my point. Don't just say, I'm not good at that, or why me, or why should that happen to me? I'm like, act as if, why not? Like I turn it around and saying, if it can happen to Joe Blow and it can happen to that person or this person, why can't it happen to me? But you gotta put yourself in a place to win. So that's the point.
No, I love that analogy, and even using the basketball one, for example. And let's use the 5'1" type of character of going to like, listen, deep down, I want to be a basketball player so bad, but I'm open to whatever it takes. I'll be the ball boy. I'll clean the floors. I'll do anything to be around that environment.
Start a media channel that talks about NBA.
And deep down, I hope they see me and they see my talent. I get an opportunity. But what might happen is I end up being a strength and conditioning coach, or maybe I end up being this. Which, by the way, the guy who is the VP for the Warriors started as the like assistant ball boy guy who's now walking around with the ring and sitting courtside. I met him last time I was at the game. So, there's an example of somebody who probably had no idea it was going to end up being that for him, right?
They probably didn't. Like put yourself in the vicinity of what you're interested in. That's basically the bottom line. Like put yourself in the vicinity. Like you're not going to go on that NBA court and start like, getting 3-pointers, but at least like work within that area and like you will kind of like, you will find your way. So that's what I've done my whole life. Like that's my point. And I feel like what you're saying is that, yeah, if you fail and then people feel, oh, well, then it kind of brings you back down and like get you worse down that black hole or rabbit hole. So you got to practice the idea of failure. Like to me, make yourself immune to failure. So you become, I guess I would say, desensitize yourself to failure.